Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. And first question right off the jump. What do you guys think of my intro? Is it time for me to change this? Is it too long? Is the music a little annoying? I really want to know. Every time I create an intro, I think that's cool. That'll work. And then I start to second guess it. Like, should I just have like a little 3-second intro and be done with it? I'm trying to fit in like little things that I'm working on so that people can see them on a regular basis, or new people, but just broke 143,000 subs. So thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to see 150. Really, I think 200,000 is really going to be the metric for when I'm like, okay, I'm back in this again after all the time away I took in Puerto Rico and just all the damage that did. But anyway, check out crowtokens.com if you guys are interested. Obviously, it's just a fun little meme token project. It's just a part of my legacy overall, and I'm working on some really big stuff as to in line with that. So going to be launching a big platform here very soon, and have an interesting partner that I'm going to probably announce at some point in the next week, and it's definitely going to be something really cool, and I can't wait. I really can't wait, but more news on that later. Before we get into crypto news, we've got BitBoy crypto news. We've got Cardano news. Let's take a look at the price action right now and what's going on, because I think this is pretty important. Looking back here, you can, I haven't touched this line chart. I haven't touched any of this stuff yet. And if you look back here, you can see this is where I started this prediction cycle, where I was basically drawing out what I believe is going to be the potential price action of Bitcoin over the next 6 months, leading into the halving. And as soon as I did this, man, the next day the price went up. And I'm like, oh, well, this is going to make me look stupid, isn't it? And, when Jerome Powell talks, and if he says anything everybody likes, then typically the price pumps or dumps immediately. And so the price pumped a little bit, and it pumped beyond this, what was resistance turned into support. And I did another video, I think like a day or so later, and I said, listen, I'm not worried about this because I think that my prediction is going to be accurate. I think this is still going to play out. I'm just not 100% sure as to the exact price action, but this is the overall flow I expect to see. I expect to see. And sure enough, we're all the way back down here. When I drew the chart, I drew it up here. And so far it's playing out pretty accurately, if I do say so myself. But what do I know? I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just some old guy on the internet. And I'm always right sometimes. So we'll see how this plays out, but this is what I expect to see. And I know that it's not to the a lot of people don't like to see this, because if this does continue playing out as predicted, we could see Bitcoin hit down to like 18,000 again. Okay. Which, what I haven't done, let me take this just out of curiosity. Let me do a price range and see, because I did not calculate this based against the 60% drop at all. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, let's do this. Let's see, what was it? If we bring it down here, that's only a 31% drop. So if you look at previous market cycles in Bitcoin, you will see that around this time, somewhere within this period, we've come from, the current price and come all the way down 60%. Will we do that this time? I don't know. We could. 60% down could be the spring that leads us up into the next altcoin rally. It makes sense if it did happen. I mean, I know that it doesn't sound good for a lot of people, but if we did get that is when I would most likely load up substantially and average my price down in Cardano, because Cardano will have fallen as well, and so keep in mind, Cardano went from $2 to $3.14 in a matter of about 6 months. So anything's possible, and given the current climate of crypto and the way the big whales are getting in, we'll see. Big alert for those of you on the Huobi exchange: it was hacked. Red alert, we detected a suspicious transaction. Although we tried to reach out, we did not receive any response. However, an attacker took 5,000 Ethereum, worth about $7.9 million, from Huobi Global's hot wallet. So, and apparently this is the hacker's address, which I'm sure isn't going to mean anything, because by the time this is out there, they're already going to have spun that into an oblivion of wallets all over the place and brought them all back together at the end. So yeah, there's that. I never used that exchange. So, but anyway, 6 years ago, Cardano embarked on a journey that would see it become one of the most prominent blockchain platforms in the cryptocurrency space. As the Cardano community celebrates the 6th year anniversary of the creation of its Genesis block, it is a fitting time to reflect on the network's achievements, challenges, and future prospects. So anyway, Cardano is officially 6 years old in terms of when it minted its first Genesis block, the first block to be minted on the blockchain. And it's you know, it's a great day, especially given this. Cardano, the decentralized proof of stake blockchain, is again making headlines, this time for achieving an impressive milestone of over 5 years of uninterrupted uptime. Actually, it's almost 6 years. I mean, since its Genesis block, I'm pretty sure. The news of Cardano's remarkable uptime was brought to the forefront by a Twitter user named TGK, who took to the social media to share the achievement. According to the pundit's tweet, Cardano boasts an impeccable uptime record of precisely 2,174 days, equivalent to an astonishing 5.95 years without a single instance of downtime. Booyakashan. So yeah, there you go. I mean, that's pretty big. And you know, there's a lot of people out there that still want to talk trash about Cardano. I think nowadays most of them are bots. Because it's kind of like anything else in the world today. Anytime I see somebody that's still towing a particular narrative that's already been disproven countless times over, I have to wonder if they're just bots. Like they just haven't been updated with the new like catchphrases or whatever it is. So yeah, I still see it, but now I just chuckle and laugh them off because they mean absolutely nothing, and they're just people trapped in some sort of bubble. I don't understand. But anyway, yeah, I mean, Cardano's been doing really, really well. Now we're going to touch on this, and this is probably going to be the last time I talk about BitBoy's situation here, because I just don't like it. I don't like anything that has to do with this. But it is what it is, and it, you know, listen, like him or not, BitBoy is a pretty significant element of the cryptocurrency space over the years, and it's tragic what I'm seeing. I mean, it really is. It's disheartening, it's saddening, and frustrating all at the same time. And he's recently asked fans for support, you know, basically saying, if I've ever helped you in any way, if you could donate, that'd be great, because he's needing some funds for a legal battle. And I listened to, and he's generated around 150 grand, probably more since this came out. And he's so I recently listened to his video. I watched this video where he basically shares a couple of recorded conversations with a couple of individuals, and I guess Justin and Carlos something, Carlos. And it's just shady, man. I mean, it's just shady across the board. I mean, these guys are all trying to get him to say certain things, you know, so that they can have a recording of him saying certain things so that they could try to use it against him in court later. And you know, it's like apparently there's been extortion and death threats and all kinds of stuff. And at one point, you know, Ben is ultimately just fused up, you know, enraged and mad, and he's upset, and he's just all this stuff, and he's basically telling this one guy, like, I don't care if you're a gangster, I don't care if you've killed people before, I'm not afraid of you, and all this. And I'm like, whoa, like, who the hell are you associating with, dude? Like, I mean, it's just blowing my mind. I mean, it really is. It's blowing my mind. And you know, here's the thing. I was like 30 minutes into another video before, and I realized that my microphone wasn't even catching, like it wasn't even on. So I had to stop and redo this entire thing. But you know, in the grand scheme here, all I'm going to say is this: for those of you guys that are on Hit Squad and you see what's been going on, I don't care personally. I don't care if Ben, you know, which he did. He obviously played a significant role in building this company, its reach, and all of your paychecks. I mean, let's just be real about it. And I don't care if he came into the office every Tuesday, roid raging, throwing paper clips and cussing everybody out. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's good. And I'm not saying that even happened. I'm just making up a situation. He still gave you all your livelihoods, gave you all an opportunity to grow with him, and ultimately put all of you on the map. Okay. Which is one of the reasons why I also think that given the circumstances, we're seeing a decline across the board in Hit Squad and BitBoy Entertainment. And it saddens me to see the way, whether it's greed or control or vengeance or whatever the situation is, has been playing out in the public airwaves. How everybody's been airing their dirty laundry for and against each other, trying to establish some form of opinion of the public to garner some sort of support. And I watch this thing, and I watch Ben pause it like every 30 seconds, to explain, like, this is what they're thinking. This is what they're thinking. This is what's going on behind the scenes. And it's like, listen, I understand from Ben's perspective, he feels like he's being trapped, manipulated, extorted, lied to, set up, all kinds of stuff. And it's, at a certain point, you just become absolutely paranoid because you know that you're getting hit from all sides. And that's kind of the idea, right? It's kind of the idea of what Hit Squad's doing. They're performing a hit. I mean, that's what it is. This is a virtual digital hit on somebody that they're trying to get out of their company. And I find it kind of ironic that that's the name of this group. Apparently there's a gangster in there. You got you got all kinds of people, man. And they're all basically like, hey, you know what? It just feels like a lot of people biting the hand that's fed them. Now, I don't know like the full details of the relationship. Apparently one guy, his dad is like the CFO, and Ben never looked at the books. I find that odd, personally. And there's like a whole lot of accusations being thrown around, a whole lot of threats, a whole lot of toxicity. And I'm going to tell everybody, like, my personal opinion, I think it would behoove each and every one of you, and it may already be too late, and it probably is, because I think at this point now, like, the feds are involved, and like, it's just getting so big and so toxic. And I'm like, this is the bed everyone's created. I mean, honestly, this is the bed everyone's created for one way or another. And I know that, this one side of this is like, hey, well, we want vengeance. We want to get BitBoy back, and we're going to act like we care, but really we're trying to screw him every possible way. And because we want to protect what we want, not necessarily what they deserve, perhaps. I don't know. I don't know the details behind like the real estate, the office, the, who's responsible for bringing in all the revenue, how much people are getting paid in terms of salaries. I don't know any of those details. They could have some sweetheart deals where, these guys own more of the company than we think. According to Ben, he owns 67%, but he still managed to lose control because of some clause. And it's like, is this clause activated because of the narrative that these guys have created falsely, or is there truth in some of it? I don't know. That's all stuff that's ultimately going to come out in court. But what I will say is this, and I'm going to end this here. I think that given the circumstances, it would behoove everybody to just shut the hell up, for one. Stop going to the public and dragging out all the fans and everyone else into trying to manipulate one side or the other into believing a narrative. And obviously it's emotional. I think it's obvious that it's trying, and it's frustrating and sad and toxic. It's a lot of things. It's despicable is what all of it is, really. But I think ultimately, those of you guys that are still around and you're in Hit Squad, I'm sure you're watching your numbers decline. I am. And it's sad. And I think that if you guys want to have any chance whatsoever at saving the Hit Squad, saving BitBoy Crypto, saving this company, saving the channels and the outlets and everything that you guys have, you guys would stop doing what you're doing right now. Admit some fault, figure out how to fix it, and figure out how to move on in a mutually beneficial way. Because I'm telling you guys right now, if this continues to move forward the way it has been, it is going to become one of the biggest clusterfucks in all of crypto YouTube. You are going to be forever blacklisted. And in the books of anyone that gives a damn about anything, in my opinion, because I know I don't want anything to do with any of this anymore. I know that a lot of people don't. I've talked to a lot of people. Nobody wants to touch any of this with a 10-foot pole now, because it doesn't matter what the reasoning behind it is. What everybody sees is everyone airing everybody's business to the public to try and gain favor for whatever their motives are. That's dark. And in a world where, you never know who to trust as it is, and you're never really quite sure what's going on around you, this is career suicide across the board. And I would seriously, I'm telling you, and I know nobody's going to listen to me. I'm just some old dude on the internet. But if you guys have a way of figuring this out before letting it get to a big drawn out situation in court, I would suggest you guys drop the greed. All of you drop the pride and figure out how to sit down and solve this in a clear and effective way, or you're all going down. That's just all there is to it. Ultimately, you guys are fighting for the nothing that is going to be there when you're done. And there's no point in that. I'm sure everybody has worked too hard for too long to build this thing together. And, I'm sure Ben has obviously learned some extremely valuable lessons. He got way too big for his britches. Okay. I'm just being straight up. It's obvious that he did. I would tell him that anytime. I love Ben, but it's obvious. We've seen Ben's head grow day after day after day. And I believe that he exchanged one addiction for another. And it got the best of him again. And now he's going to have to recover from this. But all of you guys out there and the part of the hit squad, and you guys are doing what you're doing, trying to ride this train. Listen, you guys need to work this stuff out, because I'm telling you right now, at the rate things are going, you're not going to have anything left to fight over by the time the fight is over. And that's a really, really sad tale. It's a sad situation. But I know everybody's going to try their luck, because in a narcissistic world of power struggles and corporate greed, everybody thinks they've got an excuse or a valid reason for doing the shady bullshit that they do. You don't. I'm telling you now, you don't. And it's not going to work out, I think, the way any of you think it will. And it's really, really sad. So this is the last I'm ever going to talk about this, because honestly, it's not my business outside of what's been put out into the public wrongly, I believe, in my opinion. And, listen, we all have our problems. We all have our issues, and we're all trying to make our way. But, I think a lot of people are overstepping on this, and I think it's just a really tragic tale. Is Ben an angel? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I think Ben knows that. Ben is very well aware of the fact that he screwed up a lot of different things. Is it worth a hostile, shady takeover of his company where they're trying to No, it's not worth all that. You guys need to drop your egos, drop your pride, and sit down and figure out how to resolve this, because this is just going to be, you guys are just, you're literally standing across from each other, sticking each other back and forth until you both bled out. And it's like, who's going to win at the end of this? Your lawyers. That's who's going to win. Completely senseless. But anyway, what do I know? Looking at Cardano's price, obviously a little bit, it's going down a little bit, man. I mean, listen, I know that a lot of people don't like it when I say that Bitcoin or Cardano or any of this stuff is going to go down, but I just call what I see. I just say, this is what I'm seeing. This is how I think it's all going to happen. But long term, once we get past the halving in 2024, I think it's going to be real interesting from there. And believe me, I want the price to go up. I want it to go to the moon. I want the entire cryptocurrency market to just fly, fly, fly. And I believe it will. It's just not going to start yet. We still have some time. We still have a little pain left in this bear market, and it sucks. But we're going to keep fighting the bear market as best we can by educating ourselves and preparing ourselves for the bull market to come. And until next time, guys, crow your coins. I'll see you soon. I love you all. Thanks for joining me.